All right. Well, hello everybody. It's Tuesday about 7:30 Eastern time, 7:30 p.m. That is, and
Yep.
just going to give you a little breakdown of the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Rams. Los Angeles Rams are the 2022 Super Bowl
It's
champions.
all in and they did it.
Yep, yep. It was you know um, first impressions. I thought the game had a good ending. Um, it was um, it was a bit of a struggle for both teams. It looked like, and honestly, like I think a lot of it came down to kind of who's left standing on the field at the end, because it just
Yeah.
and if I were to sum up this NFL season, that's what I would say. Like it was just battle war of attrition. Just
Yeah.
who's left to win the game because it just came down to Matthew Stafford's got one receiver that he can throw to, that he trusts to throw to, and that's who we're going to throw the ball to. And, that's what it came down to. I mean, it was Stafford and Kupp and then Aaron Donald on the other side.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of like, right after the game, I was kind of like, meh, I don't know. But then, like, yesterday and then today, I'm like, no, it was a good game. It wasn't a great game. It was a good game. It was close. It had some moments. It had some drama. The only thing that I was kind of meh about was just the penalties at the end. And it's not like the first penalty I didn't like. We were texting each other. We thought that was cheap. I didn't think they should have called that because he was behind the guy, but he didn't have his jersey, and he kind of reached out, and the receiver still had his hands up, so he could still kind of try to make a catch on the ball. Like, I didn't like that. And then they had a few other penalties, and I just felt it killed any of the it killed the moment a little bit because Stafford, he did a good job throwing that touchdown pass, and it was just kind of like after all those penalties, I was like, oh, okay, now they scored, because I kind of figured they were going to because of all the penalties. So yeah, I think that was what I was kind of left with. Like, I think in order for it to level up into a better game, like either Joe Burrow would have had to drive down the field and score a touchdown, or have it go to overtime, and then whoever wins in overtime, that would have been fine with that. Yeah, I mean, just like Cincinnati, and we'll talk about this on the next podcast, but Cincinnati, I just feel like it was kind of a magical run, and they just, at a certain point, it's like, okay, your offensive line, we kept saying it was really bad for a reason, and especially against this team, like you're just not, Aaron Donald is literally one of, people have been talking about this week. I mean, he's one of the, when you think of defensive linemen, it's like Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, Bruce Smith. I probably throw Warren Sapp in there, maybe, and Aaron Donald those guys all got Super Bowl rings, and Aaron Donald's got a Super Bowl ring now. So I kind of think I honestly think they should have given the MVP of the game to him. I mean, I don't have a problem with them giving it to Cooper Kupp, but I do think that we've been slanted towards offense on a lot of these MVP awards. And I just think sometimes we need to just kind of consciously go, let's give it to a defensive guy, because it's an award for anyone on the team. So, and I just thought people were like, oh, well, he only had 2 sacks. Yeah, but dude, come on. He affected so much of that game.
Yeah.
I mean, deal with him screws up everything else.
Yeah, and I think, especially in the first half, the only reason they were able to contain Aaron Donald at all is because they were just constantly double teaming him. And once
Joe Burrow was getting rid of the ball immediately.
Well, and once the Rams figured out, oh, they're going to double team Donald, okay, we'll send an extra guy up the middle then, or we'll send we'll overload another side, but honestly, I really thought both defenses played pretty well.
I'm surprised with the Bengals defense. They played pretty well.
Yeah, just to kind of go back over it. I mean, it looked like, okay, when it was 13-3, it looked like there was a chance the Rams might be able to blow them out.
Make an argument that if Beckham didn't get hurt, they might have just routed. They might have just blown him out.
Right. Yeah, that was really sad. I felt bad for him getting hurt, in the second quarter of the game. And then, it was really weird. It was kind of like, oh, well, we can't throw to any of these other receivers. Or that's what it felt like anyway. And, they were on the third tight end, and they were on back there. They had their third and fourth receiver in there. But yeah, I was just kind of like, really? These guys can't catch the ball? You can't throw to anybody else? Like, we can't get anything going?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that, I think maybe it kind of, maybe we're a little too loose in the way that we would like fans watch the NFL. We just think, well, just drop back and throw to the open guy. Well, I don't think that they kind of look at it like we need to be doing the best thing that's going to give us the best, what we feel like is the best chance to win, and that's throwing to Cooper Kupp.
Well, yeah, it just shows you can't just run guys out there and just think you're going to have the same timing and rhythm with them as you would with anybody else.
Exactly.
And plus, the Bengals were doing a pretty good job of disrupting it. Actually, the Bengals pass rush was pretty good for a lot of the game, and they made it really difficult.
I mean, they had a play in the second half where Boyd dropped like a 9-yard pass that would have kept a drive going. Like, who knows? I mean, maybe the Bengals could have gotten at least a field goal out of that. And then, I mean, it's crazy. If you look at that last play where Donald sacked Burrow, the tight end had just broken open, and Burrow couldn't throw to him because Donald was right there because he was going to try to step into the throw, and he couldn't. And then if you also look at the top of the screen, Ja'Marr Chase, they did sort of almost like a pick play almost. Ja'Marr Chase was open. He would have gotten the first down. So, it's just one of those things where, like, we'll talk about this in the next podcast. I kind of feel like this was Cincinnati's chance to win the Super Bowl. And there were some things, it was very difficult, obviously, because their offensive line was so bad and they were having so much trouble with Aaron Donald and Von Miller and everything. But, God, it's just, you look at a few plays there, they had 2nd and 1 and they couldn't get the first down. That play, he threw it long back down the field to Ja'Marr Chase, which I can't blame him. You're trying to make a play. You haven't been able to throw the ball down the field that much. And I guess it was just a miscommunication. And then they ran the ball. The play Aaron Donald made on Pirine to stop him, I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, the 3rd and 1.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, 3rd and 1, and they run the ball, and he's going to get it. And Aaron Donald just reaches out with one hand and basically stops him.
And stops him. I mean, just like.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, and the thing is, if you're it's funny how this whole thing flips, right? Because the Bengals had the ball, 40 seconds to go at midfield with 2 timeouts. If the Bengals win the game, we are ripping Sean McVay apart because the Rams continued to run the ball on first down all the time, and they were getting nothing. And I was just very confused. I was like, why are they doing this? And I understand, okay, you want to keep the defense honest and you want whatever, but you got to run the ball on first down every time? Like, that just didn't make sense to me. You can still run the ball on other downs. You don't have to. You can still try to throw the ball and get something on first down. And I just felt like that hamstrung them the whole game because they were getting nothing, And so I don't feel like it was a very well called game by McVay. Now, maybe they just didn't feel confident with their 3rd tight end out there. And, Ben Skoranek, who hasn't hardly played, maybe they just didn't feel good about dropping back and throwing the ball in that situation. And I get it, but man, I feel bad for the Bengals fans because this was they could have won this game. They only needed to make a few more plays and they would have won this game.
Yeah.
They had the ball how
bad their offensive line has been the whole year and everything else that happened in this game. And Burrow, like, looking like he ripped his knee apart on that one sack. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So again, we'll get into this. We'll get into this in the next podcast. If you're a Bengals fan, I feel like you got to be a little worried that this is going to turn out like Andrew Luck's career, where basically he's really good, but his career gets cut short because the GM and the front office totally fail him and they can't protect him at all.
Yeah. I mean, I want to address this. Like, I heard a lot of people complaining on the sports shows about the refs and complaining about the calls and, oh my God, how could this blah, 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 blah. And listen, like, look, first of all, we whine about this a lot. We really need to slow down on how, the refs, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the play where he throws it deep to the first play of the second half, he throws it deep to T. Higgins, and he grabs the guy's face mask. Look, they missed the call, but this is not a disaster. Jalen Ramsey was not making a play on that ball anyway. He overran it to begin with. He was falling down. Like that, I think there's a pretty good chance T. Higgins catches that ball anyway. Maybe he doesn't score a touchdown, but we need to stop acting like the referees missing that call is some kind of egregious disaster. Like, look, They missed it. Like, if you watch the NBA, they miss calls every play time down the court. Like, we can't, it's not going to be perfect. Now, the play where, the Ram on the final drive, the third down where they called pass interference, I thought that was a cheap call.
Might have been because from what I was reading this week, when you have a linebacker on a receiver, the refs tend to overreact to contact between the linebacker and the receiver. Right. And I think that's probably what happened. My problem is I feel like I've seen that play numerous times and they don't call it because unless you have like you're pulling on the jersey or your hand can be around his back, but if you have a handful of jersey, I feel like they will call that. But he didn't there, so I thought that was kind of cheap.
And so
I just feel like the way they'd been letting him play, I just didn't that felt wrong to me. But
I didn't think they should have called that a penalty anyway. The play after that, where the guy clearly grabs him, I mean,
yes.
What do you want?
I was upset with I was upset with the first penalty. The second one, I wasn't saying it was the wrong call. I was just like I just felt like it ruined the momentum at the end of the game because you want to just see somebody drop back, throw a touchdown pass. It's like, oh, yeah, cool, I think people overreacted to the officiating. The officiating was fine. That wasn't the problem. It didn't ruin the game or. Whenever there's a bad call, it's all a conspiracy. We don't have any evidence of the conspiracy. We only have the bad call, and we're pointing to, oh yeah, that must be,
right.
I mean, all these close games in the NFL, that must be a referee conspiracy.
Yeah, okay. and listen,
legislated parity into the NFL.
Right. They could have called holding on the Bengals offensive lineman trying to block Aaron Donald the whole time. I mean, come on. Like we need to just back off on this. But yeah, I do feel like the both coaches made did some things that were highly questionable. And, based on the result, that's where you're going to go. But yeah, when the Bengals got the ball with 10 minutes to go in the game and, T. Higgins dropped that pass that maybe could have been a first down, that was a huge play. I felt like that was a big play at the time because I felt like if the Bengals can go down, if they score here, they can basically wrap this thing up because it was so hard to score in that game. And so, but yeah, the other thing is that, we'll talk about this more later, but I feel like people are minimizing what the Bengals did. Like, look, yeah, it's hard to get to the Super Bowl no matter who you are, no matter what team you are, no matter how good you are. This is like, I get what people are saying. Well, the Bengals, this was everything came together, and you're right. But I could say the same thing for the Rams. Everything came together for them too.
That tends to happen when you make it to the Super Bowl.
Right. It's like that. That's how this works. Like, no, you're probably not going to get to the Super Bowl over and over and over again. But I do think this is the worst Cincinnati will be for the next 4 or 5 years. That doesn't mean they're going to get to the Super Bowl. But yeah. But what I will say is, like, they have some things to fix. But this is Joe Burrow's second year. He's going to get better. The only thing I worry about with the Bengals is that their franchises, they don't do a very good job of maintaining things. They don't pay for, players. And so we'll see how this goes. That's what worries me. It all comes back to that. How good is your organization? How good are you guys at figuring this stuff out, getting players in there? Now look, the free agents that they brought in on defense, they did a great job with. They all really helped. So, I don't think this is, I get people saying, I don't think they'll be back here. I think Buffalo and Kansas City were probably the two best teams this year.
Fair point. I mean, I feel those like I heard today, Buffalo was probably watching that game going, oh my God, dude, we would have won the Super Bowl. We could have beaten these teams, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, but, my standard for the Super Bowl is, look, is it interesting in the fourth quarter? And this game was.
Like I said, I didn't think it wasn't a great Super Bowl. It was good. That's about as much as you can ask for. If you get more than that, you should be thankful. So
yeah, nobody's going to be going around saying this was the greatest Super Bowl of all time.
It's kind of, look, the best playoff game was the Chiefs and the Bills, and there was no way you were going to get a game that was better than that this season. So, or in this postseason. So congrats to the Rams. I mean, they kind of they went all in, and I think we'll talk about that again. It's kind of interesting how they went about this, and maybe more kind of like Moneyball. Maybe more teams will start to kind of try this. I mean, the Buccaneers, you can almost say, did this last year. They brought in Tom Brady and they won the Super Bowl. So
Yeah,
they brought Tom Brady and Antonio Brown and Gronkowski, and
Yeah, so something else we're gonna have to talk about is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer for you?
At this moment, no, but I feel like in a few years that might change, particularly if he wins more playoff games, or if he wins another Super Bowl and makes a few more playoff appearances. I think he's going to have a good argument. So, but we'll see. I mean, because his career record is he still has a career losing record, and
but of course he does. He played for the Lions.
Exactly.
I don't know why. And I can't believe that's what I can't stand is I can't believe that I'm still hearing from some people. Well, I don't know. He still threw 2 interceptions, and he's still blah blah blah.
Yeah. Guys, we need to slow that down. He threw 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. He threw the game-winning touchdown. The first half, he was really good. Okay, and then when he didn't have very many receivers, and give the Bengals defense some credit. Yeah, he threw a couple interceptions. I was listening to Trent Dilfer say kind of both of them were kind of bad. So, but I mean, he didn't throw a pick 6 in the fourth quarter. He had that drive where he was, it was just him and Cooper Kupp. They knew he was going to throw. They knew who he was going to throw to, and he did. And he threw to Cooper Kupp, and they went down the field and they won the game.
And the throw.
Really, if we're gonna start overanalyzing things to the level we do now, if you took that and went, into Super Bowls 20 years ago, you would say, "Oh, that guy wasn't that good in that game." I originally thought he was based on the stats and based on a couple of things. So we need to kind of slow down. He was really good.
Yeah,
people are like, we didn't win Super Bowl MVP. I mean, okay, Cooper Kupp was really good too. So was Aaron Donald. You could make an argument for any of those guys. So
yeah, no. Listen, the team won the game, but yeah, the complaints about Stafford need to stop. The guy, I mean, my goodness, what do you want the guy to do? Seriously, they were in.
He's a Hall of Famer, but you know what? He's a really good quarterback. And he's proven that you can win with him if you surround him with a good team.
Whenever he was called on and they needed him, he came through.
Yep.
What more do you want? The Tampa Bay game, to me, the Tampa Bay game is a perfect example. That they're in deep trouble. They've allowed them to come back, and Stafford makes huge throws for them to win the game. The game against San Francisco, they're down by 10 points. He's got to deliver. Okay, they're losing in this game. He's got to deliver. So, but yeah.
So he's really good. He may be on a path toward the Hall of Fame now that he's got the Super Bowl ring. We'll see. I mean, I feel like he needs to play a few more years, have a few really productive years, maybe have some more playoff success. And, but maybe, he's really good though, guys. Everyone needs to kind of I can understand having questions before the playoffs because you hadn't seen it yet. But even if he had lost the Super Bowl, I would have been like, guys, he's a really good quarterback. He got to the Super Bowl. He was good in the playoffs before the Super Bowl. So just, anyway, we'll get into more the stuff in the looking ahead with Stafford. We can get into, who's going to be back here next year, who might miss the playoffs next year, who do you think's the favorites next year, all that kind of shit. We'll get into that in the next podcast.
Yeah, I mean, look, my takeaway is Joe Burrow's for real. Dude is legit. There's no question about it. If he can get to the Super Bowl and get sacked 70 times in, 21 games,
I mean, he got sacked 9 times against Tennessee. He got sacked 7 times against the Rams.
Yep.
I know he probably got sacked a couple times versus Chiefs. I mean, yeah, unbelievable. So,
yeah, he was spectacular. But yeah, no, listen, I'm happy with it. I thought it was I thought it was an entertaining game, and the defenses really took over, which was nobody expected that to happen. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
and that missed extra point really made a big kind of pointed the game in a certain direction because the Rams had to score a touchdown there.
Yeah. So interesting.
All right. Well, we'll be back on. We got to. We're going to have all kinds of stuff to talk about. We got a NFL outlook for the offseason. Then we got to talk about the NBA. Ben Simmons and James Harden are giving press conferences now.
Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady coming back. No, I don't know. Yeah. So.
All right, folks.